Okay, hi guys, I'm going to walk you through how to finish the second part of your periodic table notes, your atom sheet notes. Okay, so you did the top part, now we're down here, the parts of the periodic table. So this is what the periodic table looks like. Okay, this is a colorful version. You can see that if we click on one of these, okay, these are all representing all of the elements that make up our world. Each element is represented by a specific atom. Okay, so we look over here, you can see that we see the C, the carbon, there's some numbers, and these numbers are going to help us determine for each one of these atoms how many protons, neutrons, and electrons that atom has. So you should have seen some patterns when you were doing the Build an Atom simulation a couple of days ago, and some of those patterns will help you to figure out these numbers in here. Okay, so we're going to start by just identifying what these numbers are, and then down here we're going to write down how to find the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons by just looking at these numbers. Okay, this top number is called the atomic number. So you can label that. You can backspace these lines so that it will work out. Okay, like that. Okay, we got the atomic number. Okay, that number on the top, sometimes it's on the side, sometimes it's right in the middle, like, and here it's the side too, but on the one in my classroom, it's right in the middle. Okay, it doesn't matter. If the number's on top, it's the atomic number. Okay, then the next is pointing to this one. This is the element symbol. Okay, those are just, it's a shortened abbreviation. Most of the time, it starts with the same letters as the name, but sometimes it doesn't. It's really just there to be a quick look to help you find it quickly. Okay, next, this is your element name. Okay, so the element name in this case is gold. That is whatever the element is named. So we've got like gold, carbon, oxygen, helium, hydrogen, all of those are examples of element names. Then the last one down here is called the atomic mass. This number on the bottom is the atomic mass. And again, sometimes that will be in the middle or on the side, but it's always at the very bottom. Okay, so your atomic mass. Okay, so now that we have those, let's come down here and you're going to add some bullet points of information. Okay, first thing you're going to add is we want to know how to find out the number of protons in this. I'm going to capitalize this, protons. Okay, the number of protons is always equal to the atomic number, this number up here. Okay, so this number on top is the atomic number. So think back to your Build an Atom simulation that you did, and you should have noticed that every time you added a proton in the Build an Atom simulation, it changed the name of the atom. So basically the protons determine what the atom is going to be, okay? So gold always has 79 protons. There are no other atoms that have, no other elements that have that same amount of protons. Next, we have how do we find the number of electrons? Well, on the periodic table, these are up on the periodic table, we are always assuming that it is in a balanced state, meaning that the positives and negatives are balanced. If we have more positives, meaning there's not as many electrons as there are protons, then it's called a negative ion. And when we have more when we have more electrons than we have protons, and we have a negative ion because there's a negative charge to the atom. When we have more protons than electrons, then it's called a positive ion because there are more positive charges than negative charges. You don't have to worry about that, but you did see in the Build an Atom simulation assignment that some of them had a net charge of +1 or a net charge of -1, and that is because electrons can jump off of an atom and jump onto another one. We saw that with static electricity. When the balloon sticks to the wall, those electrons are jumping from one atom to another. We are talking in the periodic table about these atoms are in a stable state with a set amount of electrons. We're not talking about when they move around. So before the electrons ever move in a element, the electrons are always equal to the number of protons. So we can put that there. Okay, I'm just going to write here atomic number. So that atomic number, again, on the top, this one, 79. So we have 79 protons, so that means we have 79 electrons. Okay, the atomic number equals the protons and electrons. Lastly, we have the number of neutrons. Okay, our number of neutrons is the one where we have to do a little bit of math for. So if we come up here, we were talking earlier on these notes about how the nucleus is made up of is in the center of the atom, and it's made up of protons and neutrons. When we talked about the size, we said that the neutrons and protons weigh the same, and they contain all the mass because the electrons are so tiny they do not contribute any mass. So that being said, we know down here that this number then, 197, that's the atomic mass. If we said that electrons don't count at all for mass, then we know that this number is made up of only the protons and the neutrons. Well, guess what? We already know how much the protons weigh. We have 79 protons. They each weigh 1 atomic unit. So that means we can figure out how many neutrons. So the neutrons are always going to equal the atomic mass minus the number of protons, or you can also call it the atomic number. Okay, so again, we know the atomic mass. This is made up of atomic units. Each proton and neutron weighs 1 atomic unit. So we have, in this case, it would be, I'm just going to like this. So the number of neutrons is equal to, for gold, it is equal to the atomic mass, which is 197 minus 79, okay? Then if you are in need of using a calculator, you can, or you can just do some mental math really quick, and our answer is 118. There's 118 neutrons. Okay, so that's all you need to know. This is important to know, that's why we put it on notes. You're going to do an assignment on Monday about the periodic table, and you're going to practice doing this kind of math. So I'm just going to take one more second and add this. You're going to want to add this too. So gold has 79 protons. Okay, gold has 79 electrons, and gold has 118 neutrons. So there you go. Just by looking at this square on the periodic table, you can figure out how many protons, neutrons, and electrons something has. Thank you. Make sure you have that saved in your drive, and we will be using it for your assignment on Monday.